Good evening, folks. This is Deb. You know, we're going to have a conversation tonight because, as you know, and I've posted this on numerous social media sites, we have our first transgender woman elected to the U.S. Congress in Sarah McBride, an eminently qualified woman who will do a good job. Okay. But in the meantime, it has aroused the ire of Nancy Mace, a total crackhead in the Republican Party, who has now filed a bill, which Mike Johnson supports, that will prevent Sarah McBride from using the bathrooms in Congress. So she's probably going to have to go across the street if it passes to go to McDonald's to go to the bathroom. So let's talk for a few minutes here because, the notion that transgender females, and let me make this clear, Nancy Mace and the Republicans keep calling the people they are referring to as transgender males. Transgender males are females who transition to men. Transgender females are men who transition to females. And by the way, these people, and I know, are taking testosterone blockers and estradiol or some other type of female hormone. Okay. And we're going to get into this discussion. Dave and I are doing a big show as part of the Factivist Report on this whole topic. So I'm not going to go into detail here. But it seems to me that these people, Megyn Kelly, Nancy Mace, all the ugly people out there on Twitter, worried and obsessing over a non-issue, are seriously ignorant and misinformed. And I believe that a lot of what they're spreading are just outright lies, and they know they're spreading lies. So let's talk about sexual abuse of women, because these women don't seem to have a problem with the fact that Donald Trump is an adjudicated rapist who is now going to be the 47th president of the United States. And he has named a host of men who are embroiled in sexual allegations, sexual abuse allegations. Matt Gaetz dropped out of the running today for the Attorney General because of that, because even though they did not release the report, the attorneys for his victims have been speaking. And we will put all this information in the big video, which will be on YouTube. So that doesn't stop with Matt Gaetz, though. Peter Hegseth, the guy that's going to be the Secretary of Defense, that's all coming out in the media now, too. And that's not pretty either, because the police have released the reports on Peter Hegseth. RFK Jr., accused of sexually abusing his babysitter. Elon Musk paid off a stewardess that he sexually abused. And Linda McMahon, the woman who runs World Wrestling Entertainment and who has been selected as the Department of Education, the head of the Department of Education in the United States, a total fucking joke, is also embroiled in her own sexual scandal with her husband, who has assaulted women. So, and we will go over all of this because we're going to do spotlights on all of his picks, okay? Let's talk about the sexual abuse of women in America. An American is sexually abused every 68 seconds, and 91% of those victims are women, okay? 48% of them were sleeping at the time it happened. Many of these women are assaulted by people they know, not just random people on the street, although that does happen, okay? 29% were traveling to and from work or to school or to shop or to run errands. 12% were working. 7% were attending school. And 5% were doing some other kind of activity. And it's funny that I couldn't find any instances of women who were assaulted by a transgender female in a bathroom. Okay? So what happens when transgender people go to public bathrooms? They do their business, they wash their hands, and they leave. Just like you and I, okay? Because all across this country, I can find almost nothing about this crisis that doesn't exist. This is all bullshit, okay? But let's talk about Europe, because Europe doesn't have this problem. Europe has gender neutral bathrooms all across the continent, okay? And the reason they do is because, as far as they're concerned, gender equality is trans equality, okay? And they believe, and they are correct, that the root cause for transphobia lay in sexism, misogyny, and rigid gender stereotypes. And you know what? That is the difference between a progressive society and a regressive society that gets its information from a political party that is full of pathological liars that have an agenda. And their agenda is to oppress anybody that isn't straight, white, and male. And that's exactly where we are in America. Misogyny and sexism abounds in this country. That whole "we've come a long way, baby" thing, we've come a way, but we haven't come a long way. We can't even get the Equal Rights Amendment approved in this country. It's been floating around here for decades. So let's just get something straight here. All of this chatter you hear about there about transgender women shouldn't be allowed to play sports, there is nobody being run over by transgender women in sports. There are no transgender women playing in sports in grammar schools, okay? None, all right? We even have Democrats learning their lessons on transgender people from Republicans like Seth Moulton out here in Massachusetts, who, in my opinion, needs to be primaried and sent to the showers the next time he's up for re-election in 2026, because he's worried about his 6-year-old daughter being run over by a transgender male, which is actually wrong. It's a transgender female. And by the way, there are no 6-year-olds receiving testosterone blockers or what do you want to call it? Estradiol. That's utter crap. That is a crisis that is manufactured for political means. You know what, folks? This is where we are here. We have an administration that is obsessed with a population that represents under 1% of the total number of people in America, people who just want to live their lives in peace and quiet. Nobody is grooming your child, okay? Tomorrow's video, we're going to talk about who is grooming your children, and it is not the LGBTQ plus community. I will talk to you all later.